Hello and welcome to today's live stream. My name is Kat, I'm the community manager on Dawn of War 3, and I'm joined today by one of our designers, Sarah.
Hello!
We have a lot coming up in next Tuesday's patch that will drop on June 20th, but first and foremost, we're showcasing Annihilation Mode, which we know a lot of you have been asking for, so we're super excited to show it off. But it's not just one mode, it's two modes, which is pretty awesome. Double the awesome, right?
Yep.
So we are going to talk about how those modes differ in just a moment here, but I wanted to give you guys a quick overview of what's coming out with this patch, because it's not just Annihilation, there's a lot more. So we're also releasing buildable defenses, which we know a lot of you have been talking about and asking for. So these are going to be doctrines that are available in all modes, not just Annihilation, it will also be for Power Core. This will be given out for free to everybody after the patch, so you just log in, get your doctrines, and play. Do you have anything to say about how awesome turrets are?
Turrets are pretty awesome. They're especially good at stopping that early game rush. So if you're the type of player that likes to play a bit more defensively, and you don't want, a bunch of boys at your HQ within the first 5 minutes just like annihilating all of your stuff, it's pretty nice to have those turrets because they can really push back against a lot of the early game infantry pushes that might otherwise be kind of annoying to play against if you like the more defensive style.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that we've done a lot of playtesting here, obviously, before those are ready to go out, and people were doing some pretty hilarious things with those turrets.
Oh yeah.
Which I wasn't in on all the playtests, but I would just kind of walk past somebody's computer monitor and just kind of see a line of turrets and just be like, well, I'm glad I'm not in that game, having to break through that. But I mean, they're really fun. They add a lot of new strategy playstyle to the game, so we're really excited about it. Obviously, if you build a turret, you're spending a lot of resources there. If you've been playing Dawn of War at all, you know that stationary things tend to end up being dead things at some point in the game. So it can be difficult to kind of keep them alive. You can't just plop a bunch of turrets and leave them there and expect that, I just can't be hit from that angle. You have to also be protecting them as well, and kind of protecting your investment, because the more that you build, the more, population that costs, the more... I don't know if they cost power, but they definitely cost requisition.
Yeah, they do cost power, so they are good in the early game, but you also don't want to just spam out a bunch of turrets early game, because they cost about 70 power, which is, it's quite a bit early game. So you're basically making the trade-off between building a unit early game or building the turret early game. So if you build a turret, you can protect yourself against the early game push. But then, as the game progresses and your enemies start fielding vehicle units, turrets start kind of falling off a little bit. So if you make that trade and you end up with tons of turrets and no army going in mid-game, you could end up in a pretty bad spot when your opponent is fielding whirlwinds or turret
you gotta be careful.
Annihilating things.
I do see a question from Kitsukaru in the chat asking if there's a limit on the number of turrets that you can build and if they can be built anywhere. So maybe you can answer that a little bit better than I can.
Yes, so turrets can be built anywhere on the field as long as you can get your builder unit there. And there is no cap on how many turrets you can build. They are quite expensive though, and they feed into your population, so you want to be a bit careful there.
And they do count towards population, as you said, right? So if you want, you could build a bunch of turrets, but you're going to have a smaller army. So that's not just in terms of how much power and requisition that you're spending, it's also towards that population cap, so you're going to want to be careful with that. But they are incredibly powerful, so it's not to make it sound like, there's drawbacks to it. There obviously are, in the sense that, you can't just plop down a bunch of them and win that way, but you really can make it difficult to, have the enemy actually push down a certain part of your base, because you can just kind of put a lot of fortification there and then force them to another way where maybe you have set up units waiting, where you have heavy cover waiting that's already occupied, and so you could just kind of use that to force them to go another way that you already have defended.
Yeah, so they're good against infantry, but not as good against vehicles.
Yeah, so. I think they have they have normal damage, right, and then also normal armor. Yeah, so they're quite middle of the road when it comes to what they're good against, but it's just the fact that infantry are just less healthy generally, right?
Yep.
Cool. What unit is the turret comparable to DPS wise?
Ooh,
that's a good question.
Yeah. I'm not entirely sure about that one exactly.
Anyway, I guess we'll find out in game.
Yeah.
Right? So when we stream that in just a couple minutes here, I think it'll be a little bit more obvious.
Yeah.
But so we've been talking about the patch. I'm really excited, so I'm getting ahead of myself and talking about the turrets because I'm really excited about them myself. But that's not all that's coming out in this patch. We are also giving away these free skins, which are quite amazing. They're the Engines of Annihilation skins, which I'll show off in just a second here. And then we're also doing a little bit of balance, so I can't comment exactly on what the balance changes are just yet, but based on community feedback, we are bringing forward a couple of changes, balance changes to the Tireless Tactical Marines doctrine, since that's been pretty well discussed heavily on the forums, and then also just backed up with the data. We know that it was performing a little bit too well, so we're kind of going to be knocking that down a peg. And then on top of it, we are unveiling a new map, Mortis Vale, which is a 2v2 and 3v3 map, which will be available for Power Core and Annihilation modes. And it's quite an awesome map, and I think it's the first map where there's different lighting based on which mode you're playing it in. So that's pretty cool. So one is like, daytime looks kind of nice, oh, I'd want a vacation there, and then the other one is just like super gloomy, super grim dark, like scary night in the woods, I don't want to be there, this is terrifying.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. We'll be showing off Mortis Vale today as well. But I wanted to just quickly talk through the skins that we're giving away. So for these skins, for the doctrines, for everything, you just have to log in after June 20th. You don't have to do anything else. Just log in and all this stuff will be automatically granted to your account, and then you can be ready to play with them. So first skin that we're giving away is the House Raven Imperial Knight Paladin, which is, I mean, clearly is pretty awesome, but on top of that, I feel like he has such an Adeptus Mechanicus vibe to him.
Oh yeah.
Which is super cool looking.
Yeah.
So I don't have too much to say because he's got a giant chainsword, and that makes me happy. But yeah, he's pretty cool. We'll see if we can get in game with him. I don't know how long the game will last, but if it lasts long enough to field this guy, we absolutely will and show it off at motion. So we also have, I'm an Eldar fan in case you guys are late to the party and didn't realize that, so I'm a pretty big fan of the Exalted Wraith Knight.
This one is pretty awesome, yeah.
He's got very cool like patterning on the armor, on the Wraithbone, and he looks super cool. And the cool thing about this skin and the next skin, which I'll show off, is that they're actually customizable in the Army Painter. So we'll show that in a second when we hop in game here, but it's super cool. So I believe that these are kind of the first skins that really allow you to customize how they look based on what paint scheme that you choose. I see a lot of questions in chat, so when Sarah gets in game and we flip over, like, I'll be sure to go through those as well, so don't worry about that. And then we're also giving away the Death Skulls Orkanaut, which is pretty sweet. Again, customizable in the Army Painter. If you're a fan of orcs, you're probably familiar with that checker pattern. You can do some really cool stuff with it. For me, cool stuff means like bright pink, bright purple, you know, maybe you want to get a little crazy, some bright yellow in there. And it looks pretty cool on this skin too, because of the way that the colors kind of collide. Super awesome. So I don't know if you're going to play orcs today, but that's okay, because I have an awesome trailer to show you guys, and then we'll hop in game.
My cannon will shake this realm. Deploying ion shield. Your armor shall fail. Fear the sweep of my blade.
Our might is yours. From the sky. All power to Wraith Cannon.
Alright guys, we are back. I'm just going to give us one moment here, and actually I'm going to let Sarah take the wheel and get in the pilot seat here. So just give us one moment while we switch over. Alright guys, we're back here. Sarah is now in the pilot seat, and we're gonna get started. So quickly, I guess we'll just run through the skins
Yeah.
to kind of show them off a little bit.
Yeah, alright, so we'll start with the Paladin. So as you can see, I don't currently have him equipped, so I'm just going to pop into the Elite selection and purchase him. You can see him down here. I don't have him purchased currently, so I'm going to click Info, navigate to this spiffy screen, and purchase him. Unlock. Ow. There we go, alright. So now we return, and I'm just going to equip him on the middle pillar. So now he's popped up here, so I can just click on him, and then wait for the scene transition. So right now he's on his House Raven skin, so I'm just going to pop him over to his standard skin so we can see the difference between the two. Just zoom in here. Nice little
Super cool.
spin.
That was a fancy spin.
Oh yeah.
Good job on that spin.
Thank you. So now we'll just pop him over to his House Raven skin. We'll see the difference. Oh yeah. Oh, I love the green eye glow on that. It's super cool. All the sparks flying off the chainsword. Yeah.
For those of you who are asking why we don't have the webcam right now, we are going to bring that back once we get in gameplay. We just find that usually when we're popping around in menus, sometimes it can cover information that we want to show off.
Alright, so now I'm going to flip over to the orcs here. Alright, so as you can see, we've got the Gorkanaut equipped in the middle. Just zoom in on him here. So this is his standard skin. Just give him a nice little spin. And then we'll switch over to the Death Skull skin. Oh yeah, he's got his little cyborg eye there.
Yeah, and as you can see, that takes your army painter colors as well, right? Because in the
Yeah.
trailer it was like blue and white. So super cool. There's a lot of possibility with what you can do to customize it here.
Yeah. One last little spin. Cool. Alright. Then I'll pop over to Eldar. And I'll zoom in on the ranged Wraith Knight here, who is my favorite elite in this entire game. It's just so cool.
Mine too.
Aw, yeah.
Yeah, it's there's something very satisfying about the jump,
Yeah.
which is always hilarious. I like to just kind of jump out of the fog of war, and then people are like, "What? There's a Wraith right there," and I'm just like, "What's up? How's it going?"
There we go. There's the Exalted skin. I'm gonna spin.
Yeah, again, like that patterning on the Wraithbone armor looks really nice there,
Yeah.
especially comes through in the white, the white paint scheme that you have here.
Yeah, it shows up really nicely on the lighter colors. Yeah, and I really love the lattice work there
Yeah,
on the
super cool.
faceplate. It's so awesome.
I got a question in chat here from Mr. Meow266 asking, will you just show off or will you answer questions from the chat? Hopefully this answer is pretty self-explanatory, but yes, we will be answering questions from the chat. Try to keep them a little bit more related to Annihilation Mode, and I just ask that because Sarah had a lot to do with bringing the Annihilation Modes, bringing them all the way through production, so we'd just be able to answer them a little bit more detail, but please just let us know what you're thinking, and I'll be reading the chat throughout, and we'll try to answer as much as we can.
Yeah. Alright, so I think that's pretty much all for the skins right now.
Believe so.
So we'll pop over to multiplayer. And we'll queue up a game in Annihilation Mode. So right now we're going to be going into an offline game against AI. So go over to Custom Solo. Custom Online will be for if you want to beat up a bunch of other people in Annihilation Mode with your buddies, or do a comp stomp with your buds. Alright, so I'm going to play as Eldar, and I've got my doctrines equipped here. I think I'm going to switch out this doctrine quickly. Yeah. I will grab... Yeah, I'll give some shields to my better shields to my Dire Avengers.
So we have another question here in chat from Westar asking basically about the free camera rotation like in previous Dawn of War games. I know this is something that people have brought up a lot, so it's certainly not falling on deaf ears, but we do know that there's a lot of like performance considerations when it comes to that. So mostly like all of our scenes and maps were built in a specific way to be viewed from one angle, and when you change that camera rotation, it actually drops frames quite a bit. So that's something that we're keeping an eye on. Please continue to let us know if that's something that you'd like to see. Just be aware that it's actually a little bit more work than, you know, the programming of making the camera able to swivel around a little bit more. There's a lot of performance implications there too.
Yeah. Alright, so we'll go into an Annihilation Mode match here. So in order to get into an Annihilation Mode match, we have now a little drop down with the different modes that you can select. So we have our standard Power Core mode, but we also have Annihilation Mode Classic, which is just your standard, you get an HQ, your enemy gets an HQ, and then you guys fight and try to destroy each other's structures. Annihilation Mode with Defenses is our second Annihilation Mode, which essentially spawns pre-placed turrets next to your HQ. You also get, in both Annihilation Modes, you get an extra resource point in your base area in the 2v2 and 3v3 versions of the maps. And so these extra resource points in Annihilation Mode with Defenses, they get a turret for each player that's on the map, pre-placed around the resource point, which I'll show you a bit better when we get into the game. So I'm going to play on Annihilation Mode with Defenses, and we're going to play on the new map, Mortis Vale. We're going to play on the 2v2 version of that. So I'm going to queue up an AI player here to be my teammate, put them on normal so that they don't completely suck, and I'll queue up 2 AI enemies.
That's a lot of love for the Emperor right there. Holy.
Yeah, let's get some orcs in here.
So I have another question in chat from Ki Emperor asking, can you rebuild your HQ?
Yes, you can rebuild your HQ. It's quite costly, so you'll find that you won't be able to build like 5 HQs, but if your HQ gets wrecked and you have a spare Servitor or Bonesinger or Gretchen hanging around the battlefield, you can run them to a safe spot and pay some resources to rebuild an HQ. Alright, so we've got everything all set up here, we're all good to go. All my AI friends are ready to play, so we're gonna jump into the match.
Are there any changes in resource rate and Annihilation to balance the lack of resources gained by destroying objectives in Power Core?
So what we've done is we've added in an extra resource point in the base area for 2v2 and 3v3 matches, and so that gives players more resources off the bat in those modes, but we don't have anything specific that we've added to the overall Annihilation Mode that subs in for the resource gain that you get from destroying objectives in Power Core mode. So I'm gonna build
Summoning a
couple Bone Singers and some Dire Avengers. So the reason why I'm building quite a few Bone Singers here is because it's good to have extra worker units around, and that way if you find that your HQ gets destroyed, then you're not completely screwed. You still have some worker units that you can run around the battlefield and construct new structures.
Well, that's the thing with the HQ, right? I mean, losing your HQ doesn't mean you necessarily lose the game, but it does reveal all of your buildings through the Fog of War.
Yeah, so generally, your enemy can see you through the Fog of War, like your base structures. So you want to be careful with where you construct them. You're not completely safe, but you're still not completely out of the game.
Standing ready.
Interestingly as well, I know that some people in the chat have been asking, how does this work in team games? It basically, even if all of your bases have been destroyed in a team game, you can still use any units that you have left standing, plus your elites.
Yeah, so that's basically the gist of how team games work. You still have control over all the units that are still alive on the battlefield, even if you lose all of your structures. If you have, if you're playing in a 2v2 or a 3v3 game, 1v1, obviously you lose all your structures, you're out of the game, you lose. But if you have teammates, then you can basically you can use your elites as well as your line units to help your teammates out and defend your teammates' base structures. So that way, you can keep playing even if you lose all your structures and you're not completely out.
Someone in the chat is asking a really important question.
Yes.
Really important.
All right.
Asking if blue hair is a thing in Canada.
I'm not sure. I can't really speak for other people. I know my hair has been many different colors. Right now it's blue. Blue's a pretty cool color right now. I'm not sure.
Blue's just awesome. For me, my favorite color is blue, so that's as simple as my thought process goes. I'm like, I like blue, so there it is.
Yeah, I've had rainbow hair. I've had red hair for about 10 years, so I decided to change it up a bit, go blue.
Someone's asking in the chat if there's no annihilation mode, or sorry, escalation phases in annihilation mode, and they are. We just don't have them currently displayed. Like, there's an option in the settings where you can turn that off in the upper right if you are familiar with escalation phases. So yes, they do exist in annihilation mode. We're just not currently showing them.
Okay, so I almost have enough.
Power generator is complete.
I almost have enough to build a turret here. There we go.
It shall be.
Someone's asking if blue hair increases your micro ability. No, unfortunately it doesn't. If we changed our hair color to red though, I'm pretty sure that it would.
I think that gives you a speed buff to all of your units.
Yeah. Well, basically, like, micro is all about speed, right? So that's kind of where I'm coming from. I feel like if my hair was red, maybe I'd do better at the game than I currently do.
With some, it will be.
We must be patient.
Coverage.
Confirming the power generator is under fire. Power generator complete.
So guys, if I've missed your question in the chat, please go ahead and repost it. I may not be able to answer everything, but especially just because we don't have a dev here for every single discipline, but especially as it relates to Annihilation Mode, please just keep asking us questions in the chat. We'll do our best to answer even ones that aren't necessarily related to Annihilation Mode, but we may not always have all the answers.
The disobedient.
Someone is again asking why you can't see the escalation phase indicator. That's just an option and we just currently have it turned off.
Capturing!
Our warrior portal is complete.
Someone's asking if the Eldar turret is able to relocate.
It cannot relocate. When I select it here, you can see it doesn't have any abilities, it doesn't have anything special that makes it different from the other faction's turrets. Yeah.
Command me.
The turrets are quite similar to each other, right, among
yeah.
the factions?
Yeah, they're pretty much the same.
Someone's also asking about balance in this upcoming patch. So yeah, initially there wasn't going to be balance updates coming with it, just because of all the new content that we're adding. But I know a lot of people in the forums were asking specifically about the Tireless Tactical Marine Doctrine, and we decided to go ahead and pull our planned balance changes from a later patch into this one. So there will be some balance changes. I don't have the exact numbers with me right now, but they will be posted soon. So yes, there will be some balance.
The foundations of our glory were bouncing up.
People are asking, will there be ranked matchmaking for Annihilation? Annihilation is just for custom modes right now. It's just for custom matches. So if you're auto-matching, you're going to auto-match into Power Core.
Dark Reapers answer the call.
So see a couple questions here about the 3 locked skins, including the Hunter Gorguts. So this was essentially DLC that we just don't feel is the right time to drop right now. There's a lot of different reasons for that, but obviously the main one is just that we want to make sure that we're giving you guys the things that you're asking for, and right now, honestly, DLC isn't really one of them.
Target eliminated. Go ahead.
Are there tooltips for the turrets? Do you know?
Yes.
Oh, there you go. Yep, so somebody's just asking about DPS and the turret tooltips there, which actually don't seem to currently show. So that's certainly, it's possible that it's just part of the build that we're doing right now. Obviously this isn't the live build, this is a build that's been sectioned off just so that we can stream it, which means that there can be some weird bugs there, but we'll check up on that and make sure that it's sorted.
Is complete. Improving our warriors' health.
Are there plans to address some of the unused doctrines? Of course, yeah. We're always looking at doctrine usage in our normal balance patches, and so there will be more comprehensive balance changes that come later, and we will absolutely be looking at tuning doctrines, both the ones that are used too much and the ones that are used too little.
The requisition generator is complete.
Even the lowliest of them, they have my contempt.
Even gonna do a bone singer.
Under attack.
This looks like a nice spot for a turret.
Dire Avengers must be merciless.
Infantry damage upgrade secured.
I hear you. Target is mine.
That'll be a good place for a turret. On the high ground. Does that actually give like more range if it's on the high ground, or is it just like a vision radius thing?
It's mostly a visionary
Has
thing.
been attained.
So the turret will gain line of sight first on enemies, so they might not see it when it's up there.
Right.
So it's good to build them up on high ground if you want to get the if you want to try and ambush.
And it's right next to the heavy cover as well.
Our foe has robbed resources
Get
from
out of
us.
this heavy cover.
Our alliance
Holy
has
moly.
lost a point.
No mercy for the enemy host.
Get out of here.
Our foe has robbed
Double
resources
knockback.
from us.
There we go.
Point from us.
Infantry health upgrade secured.
There he is.
I see a question that has popped up a couple times in the chat asking why the House Raven skin doesn't have a mask. It's actually not a question that I can answer myself, but I'll follow up on that and maybe I can post an answer in the forums later.
These guys ran out.
Swiftly, brethren. Close combat.
I've got my webway gate up here though, which
Unleash the
helps
flames,
me keep my
Lord.
shields up.
For a servant.
Nice. It's always nice when the enemy misses their assault range on.
Yeah, it's a good feeling.
Yeah.
Just gotta make sure I don't
Commencing attack.
get myself into a better position here.
Target
It is now the second phase of escalation.
Should build some
The Avenger Shrine shall send its warriors.
We will seek it out. They have my contempt.
disrupt these range guys.
So many orcs.
Their way. Capturing. Commencing attack.
Dire Avengers answer the call.
Ready here. Target is mine. Go onward.
The Infinity Portal is
Turrets
complete.
here.
Oh god, suddenly Jonah.
Dark Reapers at your command.
He's running away from 3 tactical marines right now, which is pretty funny. They're just tying him up in melee and Jonah's like, no, I can't deal with this, I gotta go.
Taking the point. Commencing attack.
These guys up here.
Leaving now.
Wait,
We're under attack out here.
there we go.
We will seek it out.
I want to keep these guys. away from the orc.
Well, at least they're able to kite pretty well with the fleet of foot.
You're not like that.
But they're really going for that point of heavy cover, though.
Yeah,
they really want it.
Webway gate is lost to us.
Dark Keepers down there.
I will bring you to anything. Enemy on Eldritch Wings.
There we go. Okay. Gunslinger's good.
Ready capturing! They have my contempt!
Oh no.
Our
Alright, turret.
emplacement is under fire.
We are shaped by
I mean, they're quite expensive. With 70 power.
Yeah.
I will crush and crush.
Can you repair the turret if it's damaged?
Yes, you can repair them when they're damaged.
And that's just with a worker unit, right?
Yeah. I think they're 60 power. Sorry, I think
Oh,
I said
60 power,
70
okay,
earlier,
gotcha.
but yeah, 60 power. Oh,
Wherever we are needed,
okay. I'm gonna put these
commencing capture!
Dark Reapers in this heavy cover. That's where they like to be. Okay.
The webway gate is ready to serve us.
I can start
From the Infinity Circuit,
here.
Wraithguard will rise. Improve upgrading vehicle health.
Upgrades. Okay, where did I put my... There you guys are. Nice and safe. Oh yeah, as you can see here, my teammate's servitor is healing my turret.
Oh, that's interesting. So it doesn't even need to be your worker unit.
Wraithguard,
That's pretty cool. I didn't know that. If you go at it with multiple worker units, does it heal faster? Or, because like right now you've got a Bone Singer and a Servitor on it. Is that healing faster than if you just had the Servitor?
We've taken our
Sure,
time!
actually.
Because if so, I would just get like a swarm of 20 Servitors and just kind of like run around repairing turrets and making sure they never die.
the Wraithguard live again in your service.
One fun thing that I like to do. Where is it? Okay, so these guys are fairly slow. There we go.
Vehicle establishing a webway connection.
That.
We live, such as we do, for this
We have finished our task.
webway deliver
Teleport
us.
these guys through.
Wraithguard, answer the call.
We shall not tire. Must with to the webway then. Your
An
webway.
emplacement is under attack.
Give us the Eldar. These bodies obey.
They just really want this one point for some reason. They're very
Yeah, they-
fixated on it.
They get pretty one-packed. But we're holding it pretty well. Oh yeah, just annihilated that Death Storm.
Sergeantus is asking if we're going to get experience for elites as well as skulls in this custom match, and I'm pretty sure that we do, but I'm just following up right now, so I'll get back in just a moment.
Vehicle health upgrade
Full orbital by
secured.
my...
So people are noticing that you haven't used your elite points yet, but I think there's a reason for that, right?
So as you can see, I've got 7 elite points. We're doing all right. So I'm gonna hold out until I can get my Wraith Knight out. Give him a little
Summoning
spin.
Wraithguard.
But I think we're doing pretty good, all things considered, so far. I just purchased this elite point generator, so I can get...
Oh man, Wraithguard are just super good at taking out buildings.
Oh yeah.
That range is pretty crazy.
Under fire.
Look at all those bodies in there. Can we just zoom in on that for a split second?
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot of carnage.
That was a good orbital.
Yeah, that was a lot of value out of that orbital.
We have a surplus in requisition.
Oh, I do have
We
a
have
surplus.
lost a turret.
Let's...
Unlocking Shadow Spectres. An emplacement is under attack.
almost have enough for another Wraith. Here.
Wraithguard, answer the call.
Here up soon.
To the webway then.
Our emplacement is under fire.
One thing I like to do in Annihilation Mode is I like to have a servitor over by my
I am upon the path.
teammate's base in case my base gets kicked in. So that way you can have some backup
Is under
servitors to
attack.
quickly throw up an HQ in a safer location, and that way you can make a faster comeback than if you suddenly have to.
Well, if you don't have any worker units, you can't really come. I mean, you can still play in the game in the sense that you can still deploy your elites and you can still play with them and contribute to a victory, but if you lose your worker units, then you can't build any more buildings.
Yeah, you'll be at a significant disadvantage.
An emplacement is under attack.
So this guy thinks he can take these on. It looks like he's taken out one turret. This turret's doing a pretty good job.
It's a bit of a pool noodle fight between those two particular units.
Yeah, I think I'll make some dark Wraith Guard to go and deal with that guy. I really like him sitting there. Eventually he's going to wear that turret down, and then he'll start shooting my allies.
Oh my goodness, they're so slow without the webway gate now, but
Yeah,
so powerful.
Reapers at your command.
No, that one had a squad in it, right? Or 2 squads inside of it? That truck? I wasn't sure. I'm not sure if I saw, but do the squads die if you kill the truck while they're still inside?
I think he popped out. Alright, so I've got my Wraith Knight here.
Dark Reapers.
Here we go!
Aw, yeah. Try that. Because I can.
Wraith Guard answer the call.
Aw, yeah. Look at that.
An emplacement is under attack. We have lost a turret.
Right.
We got a Def Captain now.
Move these guys down. They'll protect.
Looks like your allies probably got it.
Still just holding that line.
The Space Marine foe wield their ultimate ability.
Oh my gosh.
Well, goodbye.
And the orbital's
That's okay.
way on the other side, so your Wraith Knight's pretty safe from that as well. Which is always like the terrifying thing when I'm playing Eldar and I have my Wraith Knight on the field, is I'm scared of the orbital, because if you get caught in it, it's kind of tough. You don't have a lot of units that can jump in to take the comm array from them, so to stop the levitation, so you're kind of, if you really position badly, you just lose your Wraith Knight.
Yeah, there is a real, a lot of people like to just jump right into combat with the ranged Wraith Knight, but being a ranged unit, he tends to not really like moving in like that, so it's good to, I like saving jumps for exit strategy
Yeah.
rather than jumping directly into combat. So you do get that awesome.
That's
you can
why
jump
I
into
do it.
positioning.
It may
You
not
get the
be
awesome
smart, but I do it. And it's very satisfying.
Enemy discovered. Together we strike as one.
Alright, so.
Behold the vortex. Moving there now. Embrace oblivion.
Oh, my goodness. Oh,
Oh, it's not a stun.
Death and destruction to the enemy.
Upgrade starts. Securing
the
vehicle
upgrade.
health upgrade. It is now the 3rd phase of escalation.
this guy out of melee.
The Mud Green is asking if it's PvP or versus AI, and it is versus AI. Because this patch is not live yet.
Get off my feet, tiny guys.
Our elite warriors will deploy at your command.
Allied, we have captured a point.
Alright, so we get some scorpions in here.
Now, how do you find the striking scorpions in like the later games? So now I believe we're in escalation phase 3.
Yeah, so striking scorpions, they combo really well with banshees. But they're not going to do too well against vehicles. But one of the main reasons why I want them right now is just to tie up these melee units trying to brawl with my Wraith Knight. So as you can see, they're almost dead right now. But
of course they have
did
that
a good
escape.
job.
Yeah.
So as long as I pay attention to their health.
Someone's asking, why are you killing orcs? And if you can stop. Just stop doing that.
Yeah, I mean,
I will set this
orcs are pretty nice.
Are they though?
They're
Are
pretty
they
nice
nice?
We have lost a requisition
There's just so many
generator.
of them, so you get so many corpses on the field.
Tons of corpses.
enemies of the Eldar shall fall.
Alright.
Is to kill on us.
I think this base is safe now, so I'm gonna bring these guys here slowly but surely. Oh,
I tower above.
Our emplacement is under fire.
move you up here.
Ten slides on us.
Got some dark reapers I can
So just to follow up on a question that was asked earlier in chat, you definitely do get experience and skulls for
An
playing Annihilation
emplacement is under
Cosmetics.
attack. From the Infinity Circuit, Wraithguard will rise.
run.
Behind us there. Your reapers destiny awaits.
Oh no! Oh no, Dark Reapers! They're very tied up. 1 HP Gabriel Angelos coming to save the day. And he's dead.
Upgrade complete.
Okay, so these guys.
We stand braced for new deaths. These bodies
I need to
obey.
get into better position.
Matabar's asking if we'll see Annihilation Mode make its way to regular matchmaking if it proves popular. I'm not going to say no right off the bat because anything is really possible when it comes to that. It would definitely be, you know, like how many people are playing it and whether or not that really justifies, because it's based on a lot of technical work in the back end to kind of bring it into auto match. So absolutely it's possible. Yeah.
Place my way.
Shadow Spectres answer the call. Wraithguard answer the call.
To the webway. No foe shall stop us.
Not having a good day.
As you wish.
Ah, flamers.
Upgraded vehicle damage.
I think those flamers are gonna do it.
Now can you Wraith recall those guys? They have a charge of it, or that only takes one of the models back, right?
It'll take this squad back.
Okay, gotcha.
Um,
But that
but-
cooldown's shared, right? Sarah's like, I'm concentrating, stop!
Sorry.
Twin souls you
No worries.
Shadow Spectres answer the call.
I tower above.
Yeah, so if you use the ability when they're low on health, it's quite good because then you can save them from dying. But that guy was at wasn't too hurt, so I didn't want to do anything
Shadow
there.
Spectres are ready for war.
Oh, at this point, they're just getting absolutely melted. Now, I think it's pretty interesting about the Shadow Spectres there, because whenever I play at home, I find that people don't use them very much. They're actually quite incredible in Power Core mode especially. You can just really like skim them and take out shield generators super quick, and because they can just escape very fast, you can just kind of keep doing that and alternating between the shield generators, and then it takes them so much longer to move their units to where you were just harassing with your Shadow Spectres, and like, even if they do get caught and die sometimes, I find that they're really good at just taking out buildings.
Yeah, they're quite good at structures.
Yeah.
They're quite slow if they don't have a webway gate to boost their speed, but when they do have that webway gate, and there's some doctrines that are pretty nice, spring into the
Yeah.
eye with them as well, that boost their speed. Oh my god.
Oh, that he's
Goodbye.
Yep. That may have been overkill there, but that's all right.
So this is one cool feature of the map, is that there's a choke point in the middle here, but it's closed off if you don't blow up the bridge. So here, I've blown up the little console, so I've opened up the entryway. So now I can kind of just waltz in here.
That's
and-
also hard to do early game though. If you have just tier 1 units, they won't do a lot of damage to the console.
Yeah. So here,
Our
I'm
might
gonna make kind of a push.
Current power is more than sufficient.
Yes, it is. Sufficient.
Some enemy contact. North
make
of your
fun
position.
For my Shadow Specters, I'm gonna creep them up a little bit.
we go.
Our common foe threatens a resource point.
We are moving there now.
Power generator under attack.
Keep an eye on them.
Heavy enemy force engaged.
As you wish it. On us. Webway.
They target our listening shrine.
Behind us there.
Oh my god, no!
Yeah.
Give us more. Let us make our... They shall die in great number.
Our emplacement is under fire.
They're pushing all the
Enemy
way.
force engaged.
Man, the scouts are even going to tie you up
Northeast of
now.
your position.
Yeah.
Jerks.
Alright.
Every foe.
The webway gate is lost to us. An emplacement is under attack.
Let's get over it.
Let
The
us...
resource point is in peril.
We strive without hesitation.
We have lost a resource point. Our emplacement is under fire.
Aim us at your chosen foes. Aim us with but a word.
Okay. So these guys. Oh,
To the webway then. Those united
An
moving there.
emplacement is under attack.
okay, what do we got? Oh, we got Solaria.
Wraith Guard, answer the call. Shadow Spectres, answer the
That's
call.
the other thing I really like about Shadow Specters, is whenever I see a Solaria, I just make a ton of Shadow Specters and they can destroy her super quick. I mean, look at her health right now, and that's just from there's a lot of Shadow Specters attacking them, but also the Wraith Guards. She's probably just gonna get destroyed in
Enemy
like 2
force
seconds.
met. Northwest
So I'm
of
gonna
your
try to
position.
get my Wraith Knight over to my HQ here. Oh, my teammate is getting there too.
Our
Alright.
emplacement is under fire.
I think the Solaria died, but I can't tell now.
Yeah, I think I heard the
did.
music.
Yeah.
Moving.
Light enemy
These guys
force
are not very good
engaged.
at taking on a bunch of
As you wish it.
Our common foe threatens a point.
An emplacement is under it. We have lost a turret.
Okay.
Our foe has
I'm
run
gonna have to
resources
try and
from us.
help my
Light enemy
teammate out
force
here.
met. Northwest of your position.
I'll try to sneak these guys around. Don't know how well this is gonna go over.
People are asking if you can build more than one HQ in Annihilation Mode, and you
Summoning
can.
shadow
And if
spectres.
you lose one HQ, and so you have no HQs left, but you have worker units, you can just rebuild it, and doing that will actually hide your buildings behind the Fog of War again.
Our foes afraid.
A listening shrine is in peril.
I get so many questions about this that I feel so bad answering, but it's like asking if blue hair is a requirement if you want to work at Relic, but I think we're the only 2 people in the entire company that have our hair colored, so we're kind of laughing about it on the stream. Like, when we knew we were going to be streaming together, we were just like, huh, that's kind of an interesting coincidence.
Escalated to the next phase.
There we go. Alleviate some pressure on
Destroyed a
my
listening shrine.
teammate there.
Return
Yeah, these
to
guys
the
are just so
webway.
good at harassing, especially when they're distracted elsewhere.
But I gotta be careful about the turret,
We go.
because they'll start chewing through my Shadow Specters.
A power generator is under fire.
Okay, you never made it up here. It's okay.
Our elite warriors await your summons.
Excellent.
You need but pay the price.
Unleash your fire.
Alright, so I'm
Our
gonna
might
bring
is
out
yours.
my Rich Sword.
Oh, it's a well-placed stonewall, actually. Greedy Lab is asking if turrets scale to keep up with the escalation phases, like in Power Core mode. And I know that I talked with designers earlier, and I don't believe that they do.
They do not.
Power
one thing that you want to watch out for is
Unleash your fire.
getting backdoored if you go a bit too far forward.
East of your position.
The onslaught line.
So as you can see, I've got my units here defending against enemy that's pushing. And they're making a pretty good push on my allies.
They are. They're really going for it.
Oh. And there's one of my sectors here, but
And it just gets quite short there. But they've now like built a bunch to come back and defend against this.
Warriors.
so as you can see, my Shadow Spectres are dying pretty quickly. So
Our webway assembly shall attain tier 3.
crank out a bunch of these guys.
Foundations of our glory will be
Someone's asking if you need to kill all builders to win. It's not really part of the win condition. You just have to kill all the bases, the buildings rather. So, I mean, technically, yeah, if you kill, let's say you're just trying to like hunt down 5 buildings and then you kill 4 of them and you're about to kill the last one and then another one gets built, then yeah, maybe you should have killed the builder, but you don't actually have to in order to win. You just need to get rid of all of their base buildings, essentially.
Yeah, builders don't count towards winning. There can still be builders alive on the battlefield, but
As you wish it.
you can still win.
Power
So it is kind of
generator
a good
under
strategy to
attack.
hide builders around the map, in stealth cover especially, just in case you run into that situation where you really need to build more so that you don't lose.
Ready.
So I got this guy just hanging
We
out
have lost a
here.
power generator. East of your position.
I'm gonna just
Warrior
bring
portal
that
in
closer.
transit.
Keep these guys distracted.
Complete.
Now I can just
We
crank
summon
out
the
Shadow
We have lost an
Spectres.
elite point
So many Shadow
generator.
Spectres.
Tier 3 has
But that'll be
been
so
attained.
close to their base, yeah.
Death comes.
Oh, I was not paying attention to that guy. Oh, and I was not paying attention to this guy. But that's okay.
Warrior portal is under fire.
It is explosive.
Shadow specters answer the call.
He does significantly less damage when he's tied up in melee, yeah.
Rank
Oh
guard
no, they found it!
answer the call.
Oh no!
Oh god, it's Terminators too.
Yep, and my building's unproven. That's okay.
Enemy force engaged.
At least you have the Eldritch Storm now, which is nice. If they do like one final push where they're just super grouped together, the Eldritch Storm will do quite a number on them.
Oh, rip that plan. That's okay though. Oh,
Rank
once
guard
again,
live
we're not
again.
in a safe
Our
place.
infinity shrine is under fire.
Okay, so
on Eldritch Mode.
here.
With soldiers will be ruled. You have your bonus.
Okay. So build up.
I will craft it.
Twin souls united in one. Let this place tremble.
He got distracted on the way. Just a little bit of war here and there.
Heavy enemy
So these death
contact.
storms just go down
West
so
of your
quickly.
position.
He's got base guard.
Our warrior portal is complete.
Go.
Summoning shadow specters.
I tower above the powerful. We stand without hesitation. Call their wrath. Let this place tremble then.
That's a nasty spot to put your tanks. Oh no! Oh no, friend! Rip.
The shadow specters are ready. Light enemy force met. Southwest of your position. The sky portal is now ready.
Oh, my teammate.
Summoning a Viper jetbike. Shadow specters aren't heavy enemy force met. East
Oh no. Oh, I'm surprised I got you. I thought you... Oh, well at least it didn't drag you back. That would have been certain death.
Okay. Oh, my teammate. He was too weak.
Warrior portal is under attack.
Okay.
The Shadow Spectres are ready for war. A Viper jetbike answers the call.
Our common foe threatens our resource point.
Our warrior portal is under fire. Returned to the webway.
Oh boy.
Our alliance has lost a
So
point.
I only have one bone singer.
Heavy enemy
So I'm just gonna
contact.
go, ah.
Southwest of your position.
All the bone singers!
A point owned by our
And my
alliance
HQ is just like
Here.
Just hanging out.
Ready to serve us.
So can you teleport your HQ?
I cannot teleport my HQ.
Oh, interesting.
A bone
So if you want to be super safe, you have to make a new one.
Alliance are in
Yes.
danger.
Now, if you lose your HQ though, you don't lose your tiers, your tech tiers, right? You still get to keep those.
That is true.
That would be really, really mean.
It's
like, oh, you're knocked back to tier 1.
Things down now.
A point owned by our alliance is in danger.
Bone Singer, ready to serve. Our soul shrine is under
Foe
fire.
threatens our resource point. Our common foe
Heavy enemy force engaged.
Yes, Tactical Marines will be getting a bit of a balance patch during this next Tuesday, like update that we're dropping. So Tireless in particular, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but Tireless is definitely getting taken down a notch.
Our webway assembly lays broken. Light enemy force engaged.
You have so many bone singers.
Position. We have lost our soul.
Oh no.
Oh no!
They got my last structure.
GG.
So as you can see, when I had structures halfway started constructing, they don't count towards the structure count of things that you have to destroy. So even if your opponent has like 10 million worker units on the field, and they like have each worker unit beginning construction on a new building, they don't count towards the structures. So you don't have to do the whack-a-mole hunt.
Yeah. I fondly recall that. But yeah, we're going to be wrapping up the stream here pretty soon. Let me just flip back here. But, you know, thank you so much for joining. We may not have answered all your questions, so we'll hang out a little bit in the chat after the stream ends, just to kind of make sure that we didn't miss anything there. But you can also join the forums at community.dawnofwar.com. If we still didn't get to your stuff, just be sure to join the discussions there. And, you know, keep asking questions and keep letting us know what you'd like to see next. Hey, you leveled up.
Yeah.
Good job.
All right. Unlock all my cool stuff. Awesome.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. And, you know, we look forward to the next stream. We really look forward to the patch. We can't wait to hear what you guys think about it. And, you know, as always, just be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. We'll be streaming. We'll be talking to you guys, wanting to know what you think about the new turrets, about the new map, and, of course, about Annihilation Mode.